So let's start off with Alex. He's asking, appreciate the kind words, Alex. The Niners aren't leaking anything about the pick. Why are reporters assuming it will be Jones? So if you don't mind, Blake, I'm going to take this first. I think that the reason reporters are assuming it's going to be Jones is obviously you're right. The Niners aren't leaking anything, which I think is an important detail to know from this. The Niners aren't telling anybody that it's Justin Fields. They're not telling anybody it's Trey Lance. They're not telling anybody it's Mac Jones. So this Mac Jones thing is not a smokescreen, okay? I've seen too many people call it a smokescreen. This is not what a smokescreen is because the Niners aren't actively pushing any of these narratives. The reason reporters are assuming it will be Jones is because people that seem to know Kyle Shanahan, seem to know the way he thinks, seem to know the way he views quarterbacks, their best guess based on looking at these quarterbacks seems to be that Mac Jones is the guy that fits what he's looking for. Now, they could be totally wrong, but I think that's where that narrative is stemming from. And to be fair, I think most people who haven't interacted with Kyle Shanahan, there's not a precedent of him drafting quarterbacks. Like RG3 wasn't his quarterback. Okay, he loved Kirk Cousins. That's a 4th-round pick. Okay, he loved CJ Beathard. That's a 3rd-round pick. That's not taking a quarterback in the top 10. So there's a totally different animal, and we have really no clue. We know that Kyle Shanahan, what he looks for is toughness, smarts, and a pure natural thrower of the football. A guy who knows where to go with the football, is decisive, is tough in the pocket, and can execute his offense. We know that he likes those things, but we don't know to what extent he wants, what athletic profile he looks for. We don't know any of these things. And so that's where I see when people like Chris Sims and people like that who are close to him, when they say Mac Jones, I think that's why people are taking that word and saying, okay, it's probably Mac Jones, just because we don't know who Kyle wants, but from what we know of Kyle and what we know from talking to Kyle, we think Mac Jones is the player that best fits what he wants.
Yeah, it is interesting, but I'm going to take a different approach here. I feel like overall, some of the moves the Niners have made have not really been like, you get a ton of leaked details on what exactly they're doing. Like, wasn't the Trent Williams trade like pretty under the radar? As far that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah, the Niners said Joe Staley wasn't going to retire prior to a week before the draft, and then bang, he retired, and they got Trent Williams.
Yeah, so like from that sense, like I guess it's tough to say. Like there's some organizations where things do get leaked and you kind of know the pick or what's happening ahead of time. I feel like with the Niners, all we hear is like, yep, they did their due diligence. Like, I feel like that's always what we say about quarterbacks. Like, oh, they made a call on Darnold to see what he's worth. They made a call on Minshew to see what he's worth. I do think there is an aspect where we haven't heard anything from the Niners org, and like, I just cannot believe, like, if Fields does not get drafted, how far he would fall or had fallen originally. And that to me is where it's like, okay, like this is actually crazy to the sense if he doesn't get taken. That's how I'd personally view it. And I think he will get taken. And maybe that's why not much is leaked on him.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. I think you're right. Like the Niners aren't actively leaking this. I think Blake's also right. Like, from a logical standpoint, it just feels so right to be Justin Fields, doesn't it? Like Mac Jones, I like Mac Jones more than the average person, but to me, this pick just it should have Justin Fields' name written all over this. Maybe I'm too high on Justin Fields, and maybe there's things with Mac Jones that are just better with Justin Fields. We'll see. But I think the one thing I will say to all Niners fans is that if you're a fan of Kyle Shanahan, I'm a fan of Kyle Shanahan, then just whoever he picks, let him pick him. Because at the end of the day, whoever he wants to be his quarterback, he probably has a good reason and good science behind why he wants that quarterback. And so I'd say let it play out. Like, I feel like a lot of narratives with the media and stuff are getting pushed with Mac Jones that are a little unfair. Yeah. And he's been kind of a guy that's just been like Justin Fields was the guy that was getting killed. And then the moment the Niners traded up for 3 and people thought it could be Mac Jones, now it's open season on Mac Jones beyond just the DUI, which obviously is a concern and all of that. But so I'll just say be patient. And I think there's a lot to like with Mac Jones. You just prefer it to be Justin Fields.
Yeah. So I guess my bottom line for that is I do think there's some smoke of this Mac Jones stuff. I would be very surprised if it was him. just because of how talented Fields is, and maybe like over analyzation from the scouting community on him, because he was a surefire number 2. Like, I don't know what I'm missing with him. If you could tell me, Vish, like why he's not lock at 3, I guess it's just the media speculation, and people.
No, there is questions with Justin Fields. Like, he's not the most.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a really accurate intermediate down the field thrower. Maybe the best in the class. He's definitely the best down the field thrower in the class. He's not a very good screen game thrower. Like, in terms of 0 to 5 yards, just quick screens, quick outs, quick slants, stuff like that. Really, really short throws. Probably not the most important thing, to be honest. Like, because if you have a outstanding deep thrower, then okay, the short stuff I guess you can live with a little bit. But that's one thing I would say maybe that's a flaw with him. And 2, like, in terms of reading post-snap rotations of safeties, and sometimes he can sometimes miss, but like I feel like it gets over-analyzed with him. Like, you see enough of really good quarterbacking, really good processing, really good accuracy, great toughness, great arm talent, great athleticism, where I agree with you. It feels like he should be the pick at 3.